Friendship House is helping former inmates with their often challenging re-entry into ordinary life. So here we meet volunteers Jeremy and Gary, who've each found very different ways to give their lives meaning by helping others.
I'm a corrective services chaplain, and my role's a bit odd. I'm the only chaplain out in the wild. I was chaplain at Battle for 10 years or so, and then was asked to kick off a bit of an experiment of community chaplaincy.
Kim Miller is New South Wales Corrective Services' only chaplain dedicated to the prisoners after they leave jail.
Being in jail is like being in the space shuttle. You know, the most dangerous part's re-entry. And so people will crash and burn on re-entry, and sometimes they do that to their own destruction. And some people, if they've got drug habits, sometimes they'll come out and get back on the stuff and then, you know, die of an overdose week or month at a really critical time. So we try and make that first week, first month, more for them and for the community. Hello, James. Good to see you again after all these months. Have a seat, mate. Tell me how you've been.
Oh, yeah, living the dream.
Living the dream? Well, some people would say a nightmare.
Kim is here to see James, who's been offered a place in a unique post-release program called Friendship House.
I don't know a great deal of your history, whether you've been in or
No, I've never gone through this sort of thing. I've done full-time sentences and all that sort of stuff, you know, 16 years all up, and this is the first time I've ever been to a Christian halfway house.
Okay, yeah. We just know that first month is people's lives can get it. So, you know, we don't want to take over your life, but we want to sort of keep you together with yourself.
Yeah,
a lot of people get out, party for a month, and then they get serious. But if you're only with us, you know, it's and guys, well, the guys who engage with us, you know, they we see guys make great changes. One of our volunteers, in a way.
When James is released on parole in a week's time, he'll be put on a train to Newcastle, where Kim is based. Friendship House started in 1995. Several hundred men have been supported since then. When Dave arrived, he was met at the station by 2 Friendship House volunteers.
Dave, is it? Yeah. How are you, mate?
Paul. Hang on, Paul. Peter. Nice to meet you, mate.
Have a good trip? Yeah, what did you back?
Oh, when I got here, I didn't even know, you know, I didn't even know what these guys were going to look like, or if they knew what I looked like, or anything. It's fantastic where I can go somewhere and have a, you know, proper bed, a proper lounge room, you know, and get my own place later on. I can get my own place. It's going to be fantastic.
Another ex-prisoner who was given a spell in Friendship House is Jeremy.
I was in jail for 2 years. I was in for robbery and company. Robbed a fella on that lookout up there.
So you mugged someone kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, I don't remember doing it, but all the evidence showed it, and I just said, look, it must have been me, you know.
Friendship House is a modest cottage in the suburbs. Jeremy was given 4 weeks here to help him start a new life.
I heard about it through parole, actually. I needed a place to go because I had nowhere to go, and they said this might be an option, and so I applied for it. And it's a very select group that comes in here because there's only 2 people a month come into this house, and there's a lot more than 2 people a month get released from jail, you know.
Well, Friendship House pretends to be a halfway house for guys to come out of jail to on their way back to the outer world. It's not quite like that. That's just only one part of it. It's really a re-entry program, and the accommodation side is one element of what we do.
I would have been lost because when you get out of jail, they don't tell you where you can go or anything. They just release you with your paperwork, with your release paperwork, and send you on your way. So I would have been freaking out because I wouldn't know where I'm going. I would have spun right out, and I may have even picked up and started using again, you know. Oh, it's so much relief knowing that you're going somewhere, and you're going somewhere that's like, it's protected, and it's a lovely thought, and it's a lovely place.
Friendship House operates through the Samaritans, the welfare arm of the Anglican Diocese of Newcastle. Its aim is to provide physical and moral support to communities or people in need, including newly released prisoners.
Here we are. Righto, mate.
Hello, it's Peter, mate. I'm good, how are you?
Friendship House volunteers are interviewing a potential client.
I'll just put you on speakerphone, mate.
Years of experience indicate that men over 35 are most likely to stay the distance.
So what do you know about our program?
It's a Christian-based house. It's a support network for people who are being released from incarceration.
Right. We're looking for people who've decided to change their life, who when they leave jail with support, they're really keen to break away from the past and make a real good start to life. Okay, so you've been in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And this time you're coming out, and hopefully it's going to be different. So in what way is it going to be different this time?
Well, I've just at middle age too, like I've hit the middle age point too, and I've looked back on my life and realised that, you know, there was a bit of sadness there, but also...
The result of these interviews is discussed in Friendship House's weekly meeting.
You spoke a couple of weeks ago about an interview where the person was really reticent to speak or anything, it's all just too laid back.
But he didn't really have a plan of what he was going to do when he came out.
So the process of getting in is not particularly complicated for the, you know, for any particular client. We book several months ahead. It only takes 2 people, and it's only for 28 days. So we handle generally about 20 clients a year coming through Friendship House.
We only charge $45 a week, and that covers everything in the house. There's no electricity or water or anything, or gas to pay. And so that's for the 4 weeks, $180, which is extremely cheap. And of course, we provide lots of things for them. When they arrive, we give them a backpack, sheets, new sheets, a pillow, all the toiletries, towels, a wallet, a couple of shopping vouchers, and a couple of boxes of groceries.
Hey, how you going, Paul?
Where are we off to today?
RTA, Centrelink, the doctors. Right.
It's awesome. Every morning they come pick you up and they'll take you, go do anything you want. Like if you go to Centrelink, or you have to go to get a new bank account, or anything you want, they're there for you, you know, and they're just volunteers. Like they're not paid to do it, you know. It's really good, yeah. And that's every day of the week, 5 days a week. You get on the weekend, you get the bit of time to yourself, you know.
That's the Nobby's head.
Nearly everyone, when they leave jail, has no money, except the crisis payment that they're given, which is about $260. Everyone who leaves jail gets that. Now, that's very little money to start a new life. So our program aims to help them overcome that initial problem.
The other goals is to be real to the people, to give genuine friendship to people who often don't get it when they come out, and to create an environment which is very positive for people when the rest of their environment might otherwise be negative. Their family might not be a good place to live in, their friends might not be a good circle of friendship, very positive for them. So we create an environment where they're part of a community and can feel part of a community where life is lived in a much normal way for the community, in positive kind of ways, rather than living the dysfunctional parts of their life, letting those dysfunctions come to the surface.
Gary went through Friendship House about 5 years ago. He's still a familiar face at Samaritans.
Just here, sit here or go on that computer, get on Facebook and do a bit of study or something.
Gary he would stand silent. He was as silent as a parking meter. He would stand there And trying to get conversation out of him was quite a difficult thing. And he'd sort of, your head down, yep. And, well, that was just really a matter of learning who we are and learning who he is, in a way, and learning to trust that and slowly opening up and being prepared to look people in the eye, to be in conversation. Very different now.
December 9, 2010, I went to Friendship House after serving 7 months in prison. And this is the Friendship House team's office. I was still using when I got out, but since that time I went into Friendship House, I haven't gone back to prison. This comfy sofa, they can kick back, and when you're a bit tired. I left home when I was 16. I was working on a farm, and my stepfather went to jail, and he got 9 months jail, and so then I went and worked on a farm for about 6 months, and then I left, and then I ended up hanging around the wrong people and breaking the law, and I ended up in a boys' home. And this was when I was 17, and then that was the start of downward spiral into crime in prison. These are some of the nice gardens and a few trees. And I was 8 years for armed robberies and burglaries, and because I couldn't hold a job down, I couldn't hold the accommodation down because all my money went on gamble. And then I'd get angry, and then I'd go and do a crime to get money so I could gamble and live.
Although the stay at Friendship House is limited to 20 days, the care goes on much longer. They helped Jeremy find more permanent accommodation. He's now in an airy flat not far from the ocean, and it's giving him a chance to battle his addiction and mental illness.
I've been a drug addict my whole life, I was. And starting on pot and just moved on, and speed and Xanax. Yeah, alprazolam, yeah. Yeah, them two mixed together is worse than heroin. Way worse than heroin. Oh, it turns you into a psycho. You've got this new ice stuff, and I swear when you've been on it for a few days and you don't eat and you don't drink, and my height, I've been 62 kilos one time, and I swear it eats your brain in the end. When there's no food left, I'm pretty sure that it does start eating your brain. And I swear I've got a bit of brain damage from that. I don't leave the house much, but when I make myself leave the house and go do things where I feel safe.
Good to see you. Have a seat.
Good to see you.
Kim has been helping Jeremy try to overcome the agoraphobia that curtails his freedom.
Well, let's go from home, your place, you walk out of home, you go for a walk down the walkway then, at the top of the hill.
Walkway's not good.
It's not good?
Yeah.
What happens to you there?
I just freak out.
Can you tell us why? Identify what emotion you're feeling when that happens?
Yeah. Fear of being taken away and tortured to death.
Right, okay, so do you think there's people who'll do that to you in that environment?
Yeah.
That's the other way around. There we
Thank
go.
you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you know that the place isn't crawling with people who are going to take
I do know that, and I do know it's not real. Yeah. But it sort of is real because
the anxiety is real.
Yeah.
And what we've spoken about when we were talking about this before was that it's one part of your head telling lies, and one part of your mind telling lies to another part of your mind.
Yeah.
So you've got to tell that part to, hey, calm down a little.
Yeah. When I have like a panic attack, it feels like, sometimes it feels like my heart's going to stop.
Yeah?
It's like my chest just clenches up.
All right.
And I liken it to, have you ever been in a car accident?
I have been in car accidents.
You know that
accidents.
feeling as it's happening.
Everything slows down.
No, but that fear.
Yep.
That's
anticipation.
Yeah, you think you're gonna die. You're about to die, and that's what it feels like.
So the goal, I think, would be we sort of do some more work, and just counselling kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the goal would be to move from anxiety to, let's say, planning for what is happening rather than anxiety over what might happen.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
It does, yeah.
A lot of this is really sort of...
For Gary, the unconditional support he received changed his life.
He was on and off a little bit back in those days, and gambling's a problem, and that's been a problem for a long, long time, which he speaks quite openly about. And the drug use got worse and worse and worse. At one point, we'd still be working with him, but he kind of disappeared for a while, and then went into this very deep ice use and total chaotic psychosis. And that was when something clicked inside, and he said, I've got to leave this behind.
I just said, I'm not living this life anymore. I'm not going to go back to prison. I'm not going to... Because the way I was going, I was either going to be dead in 6 months or in prison. And I don't want to... I want to live a good life and not go back to prison. Quit drugs on the 5th of March 2013, and I had to replace it with something else, and it was fitness.
He found something he's good at, which is the running. He's just got the body for it. He's got the skill for it, and he's got the stamina for it. So I think those qualities are already in there, but they were just locked up by the kind of childhood that he had, and they were never promoted out of him.
In May of 2013, I competed in the Maitland River Run, and there was 373 competitors in a 7K race, and I came 6th out of 373 competitors with no training. So I thought, I enjoyed it.
Since then, Gary has run in a couple of City to Surfs and a couple of triathlons. He also ran 7 marathons in 1 year.
You know you got to finish it, so you get in the zone and just do it. It's like being in life where I was down and out, and I'm a fighter. It wasn't going to conquer me. It was inside of me. I wanted to finish it, and it was something I wanted to do. I stay motivated by planning my next run and raising money for the next charity, because I've raised over $7,500 for about 5 charities now, and that's me driving life, to give back to the community. And because I just took for over 15 years, and I thought about myself all the time, and the motivation is to get better.
For Jeremy, having some motivation to get up in the morning is essential.
Gary was my inspiration to start doing volunteering for the Samaritans. And it gives me a purpose, I need a purpose.
He was very locked in, his social phobia, didn't like going out, and he locked himself in a lot and wouldn't leave the house. Even that was still a bit of a problem, but nowhere near what it was when we first got him. And so now we see him much more functional than he ever thought possible, I think, when he first came to Friendship House.
It's very easy. All we do is arrange the tables, and if any veggies need cutting up, and there's plenty of volunteers there. It's very light work. We barely do anything. It's more of I go there for the social interaction. The Samaritans, we we do emergency relief. We've got a shed and it's full of food and it's all stacked in its right place. We have to stack this cupboard and we have to always keep that really full, and so they can give it to the people. And we take a care package on Mondays out to Belmont, 2 or 3 boxes of all canned foods and all, yeah, and it's all like, it's not cheap stuff, it's all good stuff, you know, and it's really cool, and it gives me purpose and it gives me someone to talk to, because otherwise I'd be just sitting at home spinning out.
It's a week since Kim met James inside Lithgow jail. Today, James is released, and the Friendship House volunteers are going to meet him at the station. But already there's a problem.
James has missed the train and he'll be at Lithgow now on the station for roughly 2 hours. What we find sometimes is with our fellows, they've got, you know, 1 3/4 hours to fill in. It's pretty dangerous. There's usually a pub near the railway station and they get very fidgety. Hopefully it won't be a problem, but I can assure you it has been in the past.
The train James should have arrived on has been and gone, but there's no sign of him.
Well, he should ring, you know. I wouldn't, you know, he knows where to get off, he knows to ring us, but with him not making contact from Lithgow, it's just a bit of a concern. We've been down to the station twice, waited for him, but we've also made contact with the house, the guy in the house, but he hasn't seen him. So we've got to report to parole now that he hasn't shown up. Yeah, so we'll do that in the morning.
James was arrested the following day for breaching parole and returned to jail. Not an unusual outcome, which makes the success stories all the more special.
I feel a lot better today. Yeah, 4 minutes. I've even got my own blog on the internet.
Do ya?
Yeah, Gary left tomorrow.
I'll have to look you up.
I want to get a job, and I don't want to be on Centrelink. I want to, all my life, I want to make something of my life.
Friendship House is just one of the services offered by the Samaritans to help ex-prisoners re-enter the community.
Yeah, thanks everyone for turning up to my barbecue today, supporting me, and you're a great team. Thanks for keeping me on track. Thanks a lot.
It's hard to know what wakes up in a person when they come alive. But I think we've got within us this drive to be human. And we're desperate to be human and live humanity. And I think that's just, you know, found a way to the surface.
Since his time at Friendship House, Jeremy has managed to steer clear of drugs and is conquering his fear of the outdoors.
The first time I didn't really even look out much. I was too busy looking at the people. Like, paranoid about the people and who's, you know, they keep looking behind me and who's that, because there's so many people and you don't know who they are. And but I've been up there again and there's a cliff and water splashing against the rocks, and yeah, it's beautiful, yeah, it's really nice.
We give them their life. We don't do everything. We're careful that we don't become codependent. We don't rely on their dependence to make us feel good. So we don't feel good because we've done something good for somebody. We feel good because we see that person responding and doing stuff for themselves.
For the future, I want a girlfriend, and I'd love to have kids and just be a family. Yeah, I just want to be a family, yeah. I didn't know I could ever feel like this being straight. You know, happy and, yeah, just feel really good, yeah.
Next time on Compass.
I'm not a spiritual person. I don't understand Old English. I don't understand Latin. But I will listen to those boys practicing for Mass, and I'll weep. Why? What is it that tugs at this thing?
What will you say to God, Sir Bob?
Next time, the meaning of life with Sir Bob Geldof. And speaking of Irishmen, do join me Monday and Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. on Radio National for my documentary exploring the centenary of the epic Easter uprising in Ireland. What's it like to open up Pandora's box of often violent memories, and the lesson for Australia too? I hope you can join me.
If this program has raised personal concerns, you may wish to contact one of these counselling services for further information or advice.
Thursday, 9:30.
Whatever reason Jimmy had, you got a chance to start over.
The show Australia's been talking about begins.
Can we just accept that they are not sub-anything, but people?
Starring Game of Thrones Ian Glenn, Deb Mailman, and an exciting all-Aussie cast.
You have worlds at your feet, and you don't even know it.
Clever man.
Starts Thursday, 9:30 on ABC and iView.
Australian schools are falling down the world leaderboard.
When you are rock bottom, there's only one way to go. Reducing class size, private schooling does not make a difference to the quality of education.
Over one full year.
I'm quite nervous, as you can see.
One ordinary Aussie school.
Why can't you stood on the board?
Is on an incredible journey that could change our approach to education.
This can go somewhere.
Told me a lot. I've learnt heaps. I'm better at my reading.
All right, let's go.
Wow. I would never expected to see so much in such a short time. Just marvellous.
I want our kids to be the best they can possibly be.
There is no limit.
Revolution School starts Tuesday 8:30 on ABC and iView. The baby business.
The fertility industry is a law unto itself.
How do women make informed decisions about these technologies if they're not told the truth?
Are women being sold false hope?
I was hopeful that I would be one of the lucky ones.
It just makes you wonder if it's all worth it.
Four Corners, tomorrow.
Is what you're saying to voters, I don't actually have hard evidence here. It's my common sense. You have to trust my analysis. Let's unpick some of what you're saying piece by piece. I'm asking about your record. Inflation.